Rolling. So welcome everybody
got the
to
recording
our something or othereth virtual meeting of the year, and going to probably continue through at least the end of this year and probably into next year. For those that have been connecting before, we switched. So the fine guys in the ARL Northwest Division have offered to allow us to use one of a couple of Zoom accounts they have set up to host club meetings. So that's the reason for the change in venue of sorts. So with that, I'll go ahead and do introductions and go down the list. So first on my list here is Drew.
Drew Terrell, W3HES, coming in from Albany, Oregon.
All right, next up, Andrew Prentice.
Andrew, W7AAU, Tangent, Oregon.
And Bill.
Bill, KE7ZKH, Corvallis.
Tyler.
Tyler Parsons, WB7DD in Corvallis.
I've got whoever's on the Galaxy Tab F5E.
That's you, Olin.
Oh, okay. Well, Olin, WA7YXY. I guess my name tag didn't follow me.
Got it fixed. Next up, Brett.
Hi, I'm Brett Hamilton, Kilo Juliet 7, Golf Papa Delta. Tualatin, Oregon.
Welcome. Next up, I've got, looks like John H.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm John Hayward, KD5 IRS, Eugene, Oregon, but coming live to you from St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome. Then I've got Larry.
I'm Larry Dirtiff, AF7NU in Corvallis.
Then Ted.
Good evening, all. This is Ted Mitchell, W7RTM.
And then our other Andy.
Andy Noble, AA7AD, Southwest Corvallis, Benton County.
All right, your audio is pretty choppy, but at least I understood it. And I've got Don and Betsy. Who are currently muted. We'll come back to them. Let's see, who do I got next?
Sorry, we were muted. Don Reed, W7DMR, Corvallis.
And Betsy, K7BTS. This is not our night.
Let's see, where did of course, everything keeps moving on me. So I think next up I've got Chris, the BS.
Hey, it's Chris, AB7B.
And then Matt.
Matt, KF7DVN in SIO.
Scott. You're muted, Scott.
Sorry about that. Scott here, KF7GGN in Corvallis.
And just in time, Paul, introduction.
Paul, N0, VLR, Western Pennsylvania, checking in.
almost like you planned that.
I didn't. I had a little trouble with the enchiladas in the oven, and I had to go take care of it. So
the real question is dinner okay?
Yes, I was going to give you some virtually.
It's pretty late for you.
All right, and actually right in time. Joe, you just joined us. Want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Make sure that my mic was off. Joe Hama, and call signs KF7UOQ, living in Ridgefield, Washington. So I've been supporting the group for a couple of years and never really made it to a meeting.
All right, welcome. And then one last call because the list on my or my participant list keeps moving around. Did I miss anybody?
Paul Branchfield, KJ7BFQ, Roseburg.
See, no, it's gonna happen. So yeah, I'm Anthony, KE7OSN, sitting just west of Staten, Oregon, which has been not under an evacuation order for almost a whole week now, which is a lot more relaxing than it should be. So on to the regularly scheduled program-ish. I believe first up we would have the Secretary's report. Ted.
Here we go. So last Thursday, you should have received the minutes from last month. Hopefully you had an opportunity to review those. And if there's any updates, deletions, or modifications, or you don't give a damn, just let me know. W7RTM at ARRL.net.
All right, thank you, Ted. Treasurer's report, Andy.
Okay, the treasurer's report as of September 19th, our total funds available were $2,701.02. We've got $2,613.37 in our OSCU account. We have $46 in our PayPal account, and we have $46.65 in cash. And for the month of October, we earned 2 cents in dividends. End of report.
All right, thank you. Let's see, do we have, I don't have any old business that I had jotted down. Does anybody have any old business and or past events that I don't think there's a whole lot happening in late August, early September. Anybody have anything, contest or anything? All right, that's kind of what I thought. Chris, you want to give a rundown on the, I guess, damage report from a couple weeks ago?
Well, I only have bad news for one site, and that would be Mount Hagen, which is above Blue River, the central source and location of the Holiday Farm fire up the beautiful McKenzie. For those that are on Facebook, I posted a video from the tower site there. Fire came up and wiped it out. Gone. Verizon, AT&T, Lane County, probably a little more than a dozen commercial services just came up and took it out. It was a creepy ass video, but we got to see it. Shows how valuable cameras and security are at sites. Right now, there's a couple of portable trailers up there. I'm going to leave names out because they thought solar would work in smoke. And that turned out to be quite the fiasco. So anyway, your state dollars at work. Oh, no, I didn't say that. So they went down a day and a half after they put it up. But they since went back with generators and jerry-rigged a 100-gallon tank to it, and that worked out okay. The site owner, which used to be the old company I worked for, Silky, they sold it to a national company 4.5 months ago. So there's going to be a massive rebuild up there that is slated to take place somewhere around April or May. And the only good news that's going to come out of this is that it's going to be built bigger, better. Fire suppression really wouldn't have helped for what was happening up there. It would have melted the cables and everything else. The tower is okay, but everything on the tower is a total loss. And the building is melted and completely wiped out. So fortunately, it is not a heavy use site for PRA at all. In fact, it rarely got used and had both VHF and UHF there. That is the only tower site that is in the network that was affected in any way. There was a very close call on Mount Scott in Roseburg because of the fire in Glide. Archie Creek? Is that what that was called in Roseburg? I'm sure somebody can correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct, Archie Creek.
Yeah, it came up to the site in embers only, and it burnt the lookout tower on the far north end of the property, but it did not get anywhere near Roseburg Lumber's big frickin' metropolis up there that's solid concrete. And it didn't even get close enough to melt cables to the tower or anything because there was really no fuel to burn around the building. But it did toast the lookout tower. And those pictures were also posted on our Facebook group by another gentleman. I didn't even know that the lookout burned. So DFPA lost their cameras and their microwave up there. That also went to Kenyon Mountain, Highway 42, halfway to Coos Bay. But they've since parked a trailer up there and got all of their camera gear back up and running. Outside of that, that's it. So there was a close call on Mount Scott outside of Roseburg above Glide, and then an absolute total loss up the McKenzie River. But other than that, that's about it. I can't think of anything else that's happened. Oh, the Grand Ronde Indian Tribe, Spirit Mountain, right by the Spirit Mountain Casino. The fire, there was a small fire on Highway 18 that melted the fiber that feeds BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs. And so that's a federal link that they have from the reservation all the way to Portland, and it melted the fiber and took out all their communications to the tower site for 2.5 days. It's now running on a temporary satellite feed, and Comcast ran some cables on the ground up there and has gotten some stuff running. So the site went down as far as linking is concerned, but did not go down as far as local RF for them, but that's all fixed. Train Mountain in Chiloquin. That was another really close call. For those that are familiar with our camera site, firewatch.live, there's a recording on the site that shows the fire coming all the way up to the tower site, and then the cameras go out when it comes over the site, but it did not burn or hurt anything other than, you know, taking out power and LSN fiber that was taken out. It's all been fixed since then. No damage to the repeaters or our systems or anything like that. But that was the Chiloquin fire that affected that. So that's all I've got, Anthony. Back to you. It's been a busy week.
I bet. That's been a hectic couple of weeks here. I know we had the company I work for, our main about 300 acres of production farm were about 1.5 miles west of the western extent of the Beachy Creek fire. So we were able to get somebody back in, I think on Thursday, with a respirator. And then we finally got our full crew complement back today. So it's been pretty busy, and a lot of time just spending on the phone with customers asking, how are we doing? And did our stuff burn? Because everybody wants to make sure their baby trees were not part of the fire. And for those familiar with the Highway 22 area, there was some misinformation early on. So Jean's Meat Market in Lyons did in fact burn down, but more importantly, the Gingerbread House, a little restaurant kitty corner from Jean's, is intact and actually reopened on Sunday. So most of the important establishments in the canyon are still intact, at least on that end, from my understanding, up to Detroit, and there's just not a whole lot of anything. I think next up is new business and new events. Paul, I know you had a new event you wanted to talk about quick.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. For those who recall me talking about this, it's a repeat. It's that time of year for the Pennsylvania QSO party. I'm involved in a 5-person multi station. We go to a different county in Pennsylvania every year, and with 2 goals: to get a clean sweep of 67 counties and to beat the local record. And we're on the books. This is our 9th winning county. Excuse me. We've got 9 winning counties on the records now. We're looking for number 10, although I think we got unseated in one of them last year. I can't confirm it yet. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But we'll be operating as November 3 Zulu Kilo, N3ZK. I'll send an email out to the Reflector. I'm hoping to get a lot of sections this year. We've got our tower trailer. It's in my driveway right now. If it was light out, I'd bring the computer out and you could see it. It's quite impressive. And we're going to be putting just a 2-element tri-band beam on there. So I'm going to be basically pounding the West Coast on 20 meters, and I'd really like some Oregon sections to represent. So that's why I'm letting you know. I'll send an email out closer to the contest, and as usual, it's Saturday and Sunday, and the dates and times escape me. Might be, hang on, probably starts around 9 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday and goes till about maybe 10 o'clock at night Pacific, and then Sunday morning picks up again. So hoping to hear some of my friends on there and to get a little bit more West Coast stations. So that's all I got. Back to you, Anthony.
All right. Yeah, keep us posted on the frequencies and schedule and everything, and I know I'll try to work you. Any other upcoming events?
I mentioned it earlier, the Portable Operations Challenge, which is October 3rd and 4th, which I guess also conflicts with some kind of emergency preparedness thing. But interesting about the Portable Operations Challenge is they, divide the distance between stations by your output power. So it kind of weighed toward the lower powered stations, which is more a real normal situation for portable operation. If you're interested, the website is foxmikehotel.com, and if you look through there through the POC on the menu, you can get the information on it.
All right. Yeah. So as you mentioned, the one of the other things coming up is the simulated emergency test. So that's a exercise primarily centered on Ares, but anybody can play. So the I was trying to pull up the full page on that, but they are. It was not coming up on. Oh. Let's try that one. So yeah. So October 3rd from 0800 to 1300. So anybody that wants to practice, feel free to hop on. The idea is anybody contact as many people locally as you can, with a focus on kind of local UHF, VHF, 2 meter, 6 meter, NVIS kind of communications. So feel free to hop on there and see who you can talk to. And then, and for more information on that, arrloregon.org, and then look for the Ares fall set. Right. Any other upcoming events, contests, etc., etc.?
Yep. First weekend in October is the California QSO party. That's one of the big ones.
All right. I think that also coincides with the set and everything else too. So good opportunity to have everybody on the radio all at once. The more the merrier. All right. Any other events? All right. Hearing none. New business. So I know Andy had mentioned last meeting putting together a proposal for a contribution to the repeaters. Andy, would you like to elaborate?
Yes, it was about this time that we considered our support for the repeater system. Last year, we wrote a check for $1,500. So I just wanted to bring up the subject of what we wish to repeat. So how, what we want to do to continue our support, and opened up that for suggestions. Our treasury is about in the same state it was when we made the decision last year. So it's time to consider it. So I would like, so last year we donated $1,500. We had $2,700 total in our treasury. Today we've got $2,600 in our treasury, and that's about it. So I just want to open that up for suggestions. That's all. That's it for me.
Anthony, can I comment on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
I did not know this was going to come up. In my opinion, I would say let's have the club keep the money. 2 reasons. 1, a lot of uncertainty going on right now and in the coming future. The Hagen rebuild will be a lot different and more costly than normal because for those that don't know it, Jim Silkey Sr. passed away on Sunday.
Sorry.
Screw the money for a second here. Sorry for the language. I got a call. I can't believe I didn't mention this. Shame on me. I got a call from the family the day before, Saturday, asked to come over. Dennis Hunt and myself from Eugene went over, got to see Jim. Been in the radio communication industry here in Eugene since 1964. Started Silkycom in Eugene. And of course, it's branched out to be, quite large. I was asked by him to move up here 12 years ago and help them with their reforming of the company, which is why I moved out of Medford. So anyway, Jim Sr., K7 TBL Tango Bravo Lima. When I was TVL and he was TBL, we got confused a lot because my old television station I used to work at Medford. So yes, Jim Silky Sr., 80 years old, silent key on Sunday. Now, the reason why I bring that up is normally the old way of doing things, even though they sold the site, Jim, myself, and their team and others, we would go up there and build the most amazing filtering systems. If anybody has ever known Jim Sr., they know that he specialized in filtering and cavities and stuff, and him and I did that for years. So Hagen will be a completely different rebuild than ever before because it will not have the Silky Senior touch. And that's going to be pretty tough to stomach. So we will be on our own because it's going to be like any other tower site company, that's national. You get your own, stay to your own, which I can respect that. So we'll end up doing all of our own stuff, which is fine. But I would say I want to be fair and also justified. Don't need the cash. The only thing that's going to be happening later this year is we're going up on Looking Glass Mountain in Roseburg. We're going to fill in a major noisy area in Roseburg and Sutherland, but it's a cheap build. It's an easy site. So let's leave the funds with the club, in my opinion. Once the Hagen rebuild comes up, which Verizon will have already rebuilt, of course, AT&T will have rebuilt, the county will have rebuilt. We will be down at the very end of the list, which is fine. Let all the important infrastructure get online first. And then when it comes time to rebuild that, I did have insurance on it, so it should replace everything. I had photos, serial numbers, everything. In fact, the site just got rebuilt earlier this year. I redid everything up in there late April, early May. So insurance should replace it all. So let's, if I had anything to say, let's go ahead and leave the money with the organization because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But if there was a certain issue or anything like that, I would certainly ask for it. And I don't think it's needed. So not to shoot down any good ideas or rain on anybody's parade, but it would not be used. It would just sit here in my account. Let's have it sit in the club's account instead until absolutely needed, which of course I would then, present like we've done ever since we started the organization. So that's all I had. Sorry to be so long-winded, but I had to make mention of Jim Silky Sr. Back to Anthony.
All right, thanks, and definitely pass along our condolences to the family and friends there. That's always a hard loss when such a giant in the industry kind of falls away. So, so on that, any other business or discussion for the club meeting? All right. So this is nominally where we would take a little break and transition over to a presentation. Scott sent an email here a little bit ago, so we're not ready for the presentation we had on the docket. So unless somebody else had some slideshow ready to go, I do have a couple of the like the fire maps and stuff up if somebody wants to. If somebody hasn't seen those yet, there's some kind of neat stuff with, especially some of the maps that have some of the cool IR satellite spot stuff coming up that shows you kind of where the fires are going now. So Chris, at some point I need to bug you about trying to get one of those radioless all-star nodes. I tried running the ODMT net from inside the house where I could breathe this week, and my HT could not get into Prospect, and the base radio is in the shop, which is not air conditioned and not filtered, and the trying to radio through an N95 is a little awkward.
Absolutely. I've got a couple of units here that are not retail sellable because of some DTMF mic issues. But in your case, you would just want something that would automatically come on and connect anyway. So that's fine. I have no problem with that. I would just give it to you. So let me get that set up, and I'll email you in the next couple of days and get a good mailing address, and I'll just send you one. And the only thing you'll have to do is just give it power to the wall wart and internet connectivity, and it'll come up for you. Does that sound okay?
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Anything else before we start pulling up, and well, we can still do social time too if anybody wants to chat for a while.
It's been great seeing everybody. I'm going to have to bug out. I've got an early morning and it's 10:35 here. So see y'all later, and I'll try to make the meetings when I can, and maybe even come out and see face to face whenever that's allowable. So 73.
Good seeing you, Paul.
Have a good night, Paul. Enjoy those enchiladas.
I'll send you some.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.